Hi, all of my happy scribblers, and welcome to our September spread. So, as you can see, I pre-sketched out everything, and I'm going to get started right away filling it in. So, I have all of my supplies here, my pencil, my erasers, my markers, and my laminated paper to use as my palette. And I'm going to go for a bright yellow as my outline for this window and as the accent color for my calendar. I am using a very fine tip flexible hand lettering pen. It's just a cheap brand. I don't even remember where I got it. I think I might have ordered it on Amazon a long time ago. But anyways, it's worked well for me up until now. And I always have to go back and touch up on these, but there it is, more or less. And then here I was just testing to make sure that the comparison between the yellow and this teal green color was what I wanted, and I saw that it was. So I went ahead and went in with that. And now we are just going to add in our vertical lines of the calendar, and then our calendar page will pretty much be done except for the numbers. And then here we are just doing horizontal lines across with the brush pen to make it look like little wooden boards that are painted on our window shutter. And I am writing down below the definition of the word serendipity, because that was just a word that I wanted to put in for the month of September. I love the word, I love what it means, and yes, you could use other words in its place, but I love the sound of serendipity. So then I used a razor and I cut around the edges and then fold back the window shutter on each side so that they will be nice and straight. And then I flip the page and you can see I am going to repeat the colors on the opposite side of the window. And now, moving on to the fun part, this had me so excited to do this little scene, and I didn't plan it this way, but it reminded me of the book about Heidi, the girl who grew up in the Swiss Alps and then was taken to Frankfurt, and she climbed up the bell tower searching to see her beloved mountains. In my mind, she saw the mountains, but my daughter reminded me that she actually could not see the mountains, and that was sad. But in this little watercolor painting, it's kind of, it's not based on that, but it's as if she could see the mountains and they were just towering over the city that she was in. So I picked out the colors for the buildings and then for the roofs, and I used my pen in the end to go in and add in some other windows and doors and little things like that until each building was complete. But this scene would never be complete for me without a little bit of chimney smoke. So as you can see, I got out my white gouache and then I watered it down a little bit, and I just made little wisps coming out of each of the chimneys. I think it's what really pulled it all together. So now you can see I am just adding in 4 little spaces and writing goals for September. and I'm leaving them empty. I will write down the goals at the start of the month. And then on the next spread, I am going to go ahead and do another cutout window, but this time it is a picture window inspired by some pictures sent to me by my sister Stephanie, and it will be having a look out at like a little winery place, I guess. So the first thing is to do the window and then to color it in on both sides. And here you can see I am making our menu, just doing dinner menus for this month, and this will actually be behind a pair of doors. So I also wanted to add in a beam of wood with some ivy growing on it, and I just did that directly with the watercolor brush pen, and I think it turned out pretty well. And then I am just doing a light gray wash over the rest of the page. I had thought about going ahead and doing bricks, but I thought it would take away from the wood, and so I went ahead and just kept it simple. And then for that window, I would like there to be a little bit of flowers in a flower box on the outside of the window. So I cut this out, and I'm just going in with some soft yellow, followed by pink, and then a darker pink to give some flowers a little bit of dimension here. And then I will be coloring in the green all around it, and then the wooden planter box below. And since this will be seen from both sides, I'm going to do it on both sides. So I'm flipping it over and doing one step at a time on both sides. And once I had a light wash of green across all of the greenery area, I took a little bit more of concentrated pigment and I just kind of dabbed it in here and there to make it look like darker leaves or shadows without actually giving it any real definition. I just wanted it to look a little varied, and I think that it did that job. So here I am positioning this in front of the window and making sure that it's just the flowers and none of the blank paper peeking through, and then also applying on my wooden doors, and they double as like a menu cover because the menu is behind that. So I did the inside of it, the gray wash, and then the outside is wood, but I will be adding on some more texture to the wooden doors right now. So I just did a nice mix between the dark brown and then that reddish brown, and then with a brush that has a little bit of split bristles, and careful to not wet it too much, I added all those lines in, and then I am just handwriting in dinner menu, and the lines are already numbered, so that dinner menu is done. And there our flower box is glued down. And then I added in some lines on either side of the pages for my gratitudes, and I decided not to number them, but just to leave it open and loose so I can just write things in, and I labeled that as one good thing about today. So then for the other side of this spread, I am drawing 6 little houses, but they're actually little mini calendars for my habit/pregnancy trackers, and I looked over which ones I've been using the most, and it turned out to be these 6. So that is what I am repeating, and then we will be painting over the scene. I picked 6 different colors for the 6 different little houses, and then we will do some rolling hills that they will be sitting on. So you'll see here in a second my camera shut off and I didn't finish recording the doing of the spread, but it was very simple. I just added in a couple more hills with varying shades of green. And just like that, we are already on to our dailies. So once again, I want to use a half a page per day for the month of September. And so I chose my two main theme colors and I just opposite like mirrored them. And then I did 4 little houses, one for each day, and I am leaving them blank because I want to use those for my 3 things a day. I really enjoyed doing that over the month of August, and it did help keep me focused and centered on what I want to accomplish each day and keeping it realistic at the same time. And then I added in a few lines as well for my verse of the day. And so here we are. This is our final flip through. So we have our month at a glance with its spaces. I didn't do that for the month of August and I missed it, so I went ahead and added it back in again. And with our cute little window view of that mountain village. And as you can see, I have a little bit of extra room for notes or anything that I want to jot down on here around the window frames. If there's anything special I would like to write down. And then flipping over to our trackers. And there you can see the finished spread. And then you can see it through that little window as well. And then our doors of our dinner menu and our gratitudes with that little wooden beam up there. There's also a little bit of room below the window if I want to add anything in here, but I don't think I will need to with half a page per day. So that is it. Nice and simple, but it did take me quite a long time. The cutting out of that second window was very long. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, and we will see you in the next video.